Hello guys, I'm back from another video and today we're talking about what if Deku was in high school DxD. So in the last video we talked about how after the whole incident last time, T would basically be back at home as after basically falling to sleep that night, he would basically wake up and would start going back to school. After a while, and I mean after a while, he would see his best friend, aka, AC Hudao, basically just like, doing her own thing, as she would basically approach him, saying that she wants to have a bit of like, a hangout session with him. Wait for a second. Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on with the episode, as after, basically, a bit of talking and also, a bit of like, having a bit of fun, they would decide to go to, a nearby cafe so they can, at least have a bit of like, a talking session. But more importantly, it's more like, there's another reason why, EC wanted to hang out with him. Mostly because about, you know, how after hearing about how he's not technically human, well, she wants to know what he really is. And also wants to, at least, reconcile somewhat. So, and also maybe tell him that she was a devil all this time, or at least a half devil, or a reincarnated one. You basically get it. And so, after that day, he would basically arrive back home and would see, well, Calwinner basically, doing her own thing. And after, talking and also telling her that he's gonna be going out with a friend, well, she would start teasing him and saying how she's basically, she gonna like cheating on her. But, Izuku would just ignore that, and after falling asleep, it was finally the next day, which was, pretty much a weekend, a weekend. Basically it's the weekends. And so, after, wearing some simple clothing, he would arrive at, the Haidu household, and would basically ask if EC's there. After EC arrives in a pretty cute looking dress and also, jacket, EC's father would start teasing them, which, Izuku was adamant that they're not really dating, they're more like just friends. But after a while, he would just, ignore some of the things that he would say and would start leaving with her. So, after, arriving at a nearby cafe and also, doing some other stuff, mostly, having a bit of fun, going to the arcade, some stuff like that, he would arrive back, at a pretty large, cafe where they're basically having a bit of fun, basically like drinking and having a bit of a talking session. But they would also notice a girl nearby with blonde hair and greenish eyes basically falling down. And after reaching towards her, apparently she would mostly speak, Italian. And after, Izuku, he basically knows how to speak Italian because, he would get tutors from, overseas things to help with his, parents, but either way, continuing on with the episode, after, a bit of talking with her, she would basically say that her name was, wait for a second. Apparently her name was Agia Argento. And also, after basically bringing her in, and apparently she was pretty hungry at the time, he would basically bring her some garlic bread and also some other stuff like coffee. After, a bit of talking, apparently she was meant to go to a nearby church, but after hearing about this, he would start to remember that there was a church nearby, but it was closed down. As he would start to think that she's probably being tricked by some fallen angels, because he thinks that she probably has some sort of sacred gear. And it would probably be confirmed because, when they arrived at a nearby, park, wait for a second, as he would basically be confirmed by Fred Selson and a lot of, fallen angels in the park. And after, a bit of a scuffle and revealing that, Issei is the Red Dragon Empress, well, I should say the fallen angels are currently gonna get fucked over. Mostly because Izuku was there. Because at the time, he was basically, ripping the DNA off some, fallen angels, because there was like a few like higher ranking fallen angels, and so getting their DNA, he would basically become even more stronger, getting more fallen angel type of attributes, let's just say that, including able to basically shoot off blasts of like of holy light and other types of fallen angel type stuff. And so after a while of fighting, Fred Selson would basically teleport out of the way, basically getting out of that situation. But not before that, well, Aja decided to sacrifice herself, basically going back to the church to be sacrificed and be, forced to get her sacred gear stolen, or in this case, taken away. And so, after reporting this to, several, to both, Rias and also, Sona, they would decide to, finish once and for all. And so, all of them would prepare and would basically get ready to fight them. Except, Izuku beats to get someone. And after bringing, a certain fallen angel, aka, not Rainer, I meant, wait for a second. Cow Winner, they would start leaving to go where, the fallen angels are. And so after arriving there, they would basically start, bursting through them, basically slicing them all apart, and basically ripping through them like, butter, basically. And so after a while, they would finally arrive at where, Selzen is and would basically defeat him. And, at the time, I almost forgot about this, or at least I think so. I kind of, I might have forgotten some bits of, why, what if, or at least the last one, or at least, the last episode of this. But I think, Fred Selzen was. Nope, Fred Selzen actually died. And so, after, arriving back with Asha in his arms, he would basically tell, Ria's Grimmy that she's allowed to basically turn her into, into a bishop piece. And so, after doing so, Asha would become the new bishop piece of the Grimmery family, more specifically to Ria's Grimmery herself. And so, because of this, well, let's just say Aja's now pretty much has a crush on him. And let's just say, Akedo, being the sadistic bitch she is, well, she sort of became in love with him. And because she also has a bit of a masochistic side. Oh boy, and not only that, Kaneko also likes him for some odd fucking reason, and many others started liking him, mostly the girls. Saji just thinks of him as like a great friend, but, sort of like, for, Kiba still, pretending as a boy, but still, she still thinks, not Belle, I meant Izuku's sort of a great friend, but also started to have these weird feelings towards him. But she doesn't know yet. And so we basically left off the episode where, Izuku Millet, aka the Fallen Angel, that was, redeemed sort of by, by Cowinner, and, and for Cowinner's sister, aka, I think her name was Rainer. And after doing so, they would start to leave, going back home and basically staying there from now on. So that is basically what happened last episode. And so, let us talk about what happens next. So, we currently see, Izuku basically back at school, basically doing his normal things, as he's currently right next to Issei, as Issei would say this. So, Izuku, are you okay during that whole, saving Asha mission? As Izuku would say this. Pretty well, I guess. I mean, I got in a lot of DNA thanks to those pathetic little souls that decided to face me, he would say. As after saying this, she would say this. So, you're basically half an angel now. As Izuku would say this. More or less, but I've been planning to maybe get some more DNA. More specifically, stronger regeneration type ones. Mostly because I'm going to be becoming, a member of Sona's Peerage. So I need to get a lot of DNA so I can counteract the weaknesses of the devil, he would say. As after hearing this, she would say this. Ah, I see. By the way, Izuku, as Izuku would say this. As she would say this. Well, because your species, aka ghoul, is supposed to only eat human flesh, so, does that mean if you weren't, that would mean you're probably gonna feed on me? As you would say this. Well, I guess so. I mean, I heard that some ghouls basically have partners, mostly humans, to basically feed on them. And after their skin basically, regrows back, wait for a second, in the, well, I heard that, after, their skin basically, regrows back, they would basically start to eat them after that. Basically, it's sort of that thing. As after hearing about this, she would say this. Ah, I see. So, because you're a special case and you're basically able to eat no more food, that means, as you would say this. Yep, I don't really need to eat human flesh. And trust me, I don't really need it. So, if you're wondering, no, I'm not going to be eating you. Besides, I would rather eat you in another way, he would say with a somewhat, um, let's just say seductive tone, as Issei would start to blush a little bit. Yeah, even though he's cinnamon roll, I mean, he's still sort of a cinnamon roll, but he's still pretty much, you know, a spicy cinnamon roll after, basically that. So, after saying this, she would start to blush and she would say this, yeah, she would start to laugh a little bit with an almost, well, let's just say, awkward tone as Izuku would say this. Anyway, continue on. We should probably, continue on with our lesson. After all, as you would start looking back, and you could see, the teacher's still basically, teaching as usual. After a while of, teaching them about, a bit of, science and also some, some simple, Japanese, like usual, they would basically start to leave class and they would start, going downstairs to basically eat, lunch. As currently Izuku is basically just, eating with, well, he's basically eating with the student council because apparently he's now a member of the student council. More specifically, he's somehow, a sort of lieutenant of, not really lieutenant, but more like second command of the, disciplinary committee, which is pretty much surprising to him. As apparently, one of them said, and I quote, well, because you're gonna be, a member of the student council, or at least, a member of Sono's peerage, sort of, you're going to be staying as a, member, or at least a sort of member of the student council. So we decided for you to basically join the, the student committee, more specifically the, what was that called again? The, behavioral committee, more specifically. As after hearing about this, I mean, it sort of makes sense, but still. After hearing about that, Izuku would just say this. So, hey, Sona? Sona would say this. Yeah, Izuku? She would say with a somewhat odd blush, which was pretty surprising. Nearby, the other tables were pretty much surprised seeing her blushing a little bit. As one of them would say this. Is the world ending? Someone, one of them would jokingly say. As, Sona would just look at them with an angry stare. As she would still have that blush on her face, as she would look back at Izuku, as she would still have that, blush on her face, with a bit of let's just say, fake smile, as she would say this. Yeah, Izuku? As Izuku would say this. Anyway, if I'm gonna be joining your peerage, I still need to get a lot of DNA so I can, counteract the weaknesses of becoming a reincarnated devil. After hearing this, one of them would say this. What is that supposed to mean, said Saji? As Izuku would say this. Well, first of all, I'm gonna become weak to heavenly light, or, any holy type weapon. So, I need to counteract this. That is why I decided to, basically, mostly attack and basically capture and also take the DNA of fallen angels. That is why I mostly hunt them down. As after hearing about this, one of them would say this. So I guess that's why some of the ranks of their, some of the ranks of the fallen angels there were pretty low. As Izuku would say this. Yeah, let's just say I'm a bit of a hunter, he would say. As one of them would say this. Specifically, one of the female members. I don't really know any of their names, except for, Tsubaki. Which, I mean, she's one of my, I prefer Tsubaki, Saji, and, yeah, Sona herself. So I'm just gonna be pushing the other members and putting them into the spotlight. Yeah, I'm sorry. But, unfortunately, I'm not letting you join the harem right now because, you're too obscure in my opinion. Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So, after, basically telling them this, one of them would say this. So, if you're gonna be doing that, how long is it? As, Izuku would say this. Well, because I gotten a lot of fallen angel DNA now, I'm gonna be going for somebody with high regenerative abilities. Even though my regeneration is pretty high, allowing me to basically create Queen K, but I prefer something a little bit more, well, I guess you could say, something much more stronger than my one. But I won't be going for the Phoenix, he would say. As one of them would say this. Wait, the Phoenix family? The one of the families of the 76 pillars. I meant the 72 pillars. I meant 72 pillars. I meant said Sona as Izuku would say this. Yeah, unfortunately, no. Mostly because their regeneration is basically similar to mine, and they basically regenerate the same rate as me. So no, thank you. So they're basically out of my list. And trust me, the last time I met one, let's just say he was pretty much an asshole. As after hearing this, one of them would say this. Wait, you met a phoenix? As he would say this. Yeah, apparently an exiled one. Apparently he told me that he's sort of, and I quote, married somebody of lowest status or something of that sort. As one of them would say this. I see. One of them would say. As, Izuku would say this. Anyway, so I'm just gonna be eating, lunch. As he would basically open up his box lunch as instead of being like a regular old Japanese bento, instead it's more European based, which is, or Western based. Like, there's like, some milk nearby and also some sandwiches, mostly cut into like, triangle slices. You would also have some, candy nearby and also, a big, box lunch. Not really box, but more like, a few tacos nearby. As after grabbing one of the tacos, he would start eating them. As after finishing all of them, one of them would say this. Hey, Izuku, said Saji. After Saji said that, Izuku would say, what is it? As Saji would say this. How are you not fat by just like, eating all of that? As, Izuku would just say yes. Actually, I never thought about that. He would start to think, as he would say this. I think it's probably because of this. As he would basically, basically just like, started drawing something, as he would basically explain. Apparently, every time when he uses his Rinkaku, it would basically expel a bit of, like, energy. And that energy is mostly coming from, the light energy that he uses when he's using, some of the abilities of, a fallen angel. But every time when he uses it, well, for some odd reason, he would start becoming tiring and would slowly lose weight. Almost like it seems to be tied to his, to his metabolism, or, how much food he basically used, or at least how much food he has in stock in his body. After hearing this, Saji would say this. That actually seems quite useful. As after hearing this, he would say this. Yeah, but also a bit, double-edged, let's just say that. I mean, if I could eat a lot of food, I mean, I can definitely get a lot of energy out of that and use a lot of attacks, but it would probably mean that I might lose, and I mean lose a lot of energy as well. After saying this, one of them would say this. Logical, said, yeah, said one of them, specifically, Sona, as he would say this. Anyway, so, hey guys, as he would say this. What is it, Izuku? As he would say this. Well, I heard that we're planning to go to this familiar forest. I meant a familiar forest, right? As after hearing this, one of them would say this. Oh yeah, we are. And we're planning to basically go there to get, some familiars for, Saji and I. As, wait for a second. Said, Tsubaki. As after hearing this, he would say this. So you're planning to get some familiars? Maybe I should probably get one myself. After hearing this, one of them would say this. I mean, that would probably be a good idea. But you're probably just going to use it for, well, experimentation, he would say, said Saji. As he would say this. How can you tell? As he would say this. Well, just imagine Orochimaru. Just imagine Orochimaru mixed with, Mayuri from, like, Bleach. Mix them together and make them less evil and less fucking sadistic. Actually, put more sadistic on there instead and remove the fucking evil part. And that is what you get. You basically get Izuku right here. So, yeah. After, thinking of this, Saji would say this. Oh, nothing. As Izuku would say this. Anyway, continuing on. So, what time are we going? As one of them would say this. Well, we're planning to go there soon. Tomorrow. as he would say this. So, what about, AC and her gang? As he would say this. Well, apparently the pervert over there is planning to go to, planning to do some, more, some more, devil-based missions. Basically getting a lot of requests. As he would say this. I see. Then, he would basically, just like, yawn as he would say this. I think we should probably get back to class. As Linda would say this. Yeah, we probably should, said Sona. And so they would start to leave. So, after that day, we basically see Izuku basically, back at home, basically, doing some of his homework. As he would say this. I mean, I'm pretty smart, but I still have that hatred towards homework. Homework. The bane of all teens and, soon to be college students, he would say. Which, by the way, I'm soon going to be going into college because I'm currently in my first year senior, year of like, high, senior high. Which, by the way, fucking stressful. God, I hate it. I hate every minute of it. You probably know the pain. Like seriously, fuck this. Oh, yeah. I mean, like it's soon going to be Christmas, which by the way, I can't wait. Mostly because at least I'll get to ignore all my classmates' annoying bullshit right now. So yeah, and I'm probably gonna go back to a certain place, which is my favorite place to go to when it comes to Christmas, which starts with an I, and I won't be telling you any of this because you're probably gonna be stalking me. Yeah. Anyway, to continue on with the episode, we currently see, Izuku still pretty much doing his homework, as he would say this. I think that's enough, he would say, as he would basically close his, drawer, putting back his stuff, as he would start stretching a little bit, as he would start going downstairs. After arriving downstairs, he would see Rainer, Millet, and also, Rainer, Millet, and also Kalmaner basically on the couch. Basically doing their own thing, basically watching some soap operas, as we currently see Millet basically crying, saying, "No, don't leave him, don't leave her, no, don't leave her," she would say, as she's basically, using a napkin, as, the other two girls were basically just crying. As Izuku would think to his mind, like, he would start to think, yeah, this is definitely weird, he would start to think in his mind. But he basically shakes that off, and he would start leaving to basically cook dinner. After cooking dinner, which was, some simple fried rice with some, frozen vegetables, and also some bits of, like, leftover, like, steak, as after, serving them on some bowls, he would basically, say, "Hey guys, dinner's ready." After saying this, everybody would start, to get off the couch, as they would start walking towards the kitchen, as they would smell the beautiful aroma, as they would say this. "Whoa, it smells good," said Millet, as one of them would say this. "Yeah," said, Rainer, as, Calhoun would say this. "Well, that's my future husband," she would say, as, both of them would just look at her, as, currently we see, Izuku just saying to himself, "Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna like this, especially with her on this," he would say in his mind. As after saying this, Millet would say this. "Hey, come on, let's eat. I'm really hungry right now." As after saying this, they would start to, eat dinner. After eating dinner, we'd see Izuku basically cleaning up the dishes, as while he was cleaning the dishes, he would see somebody walking behind him, as he would see Rainer. As Rainer would say this. "Hey, Izuku?" As Izuku would say this. "Oh, what is it, Rainer?" As she would say this. Can I help you with that?" As he would say this. "Wait, you can clean dishes?" As she would say this. "Yeah, sort of. I mean, I did that all my life since when it was back in, in the, what's that called? Back at the Grigori." After hearing this, he would say this. "Oh, then, do it." So, after doing so, they would start, cleaning the dishes, as they would be squeaky clean, as they would put them back into their, specific, like, drawers, as he would say this. Thanks, thanks, Rainer." As she would say this. "Yeah, you're welcome. By the way, Izuku," as she would say this. As she would say this. "Well, you said that there's, like, some spare rooms, right?" As he would say this. "Yeah?" As she would say this. "Well, can I sleep, in one of those rooms? Because I'm not gonna be sleeping with my sister." After hearing this, he would say this. Oh, why is that, Rainer? As she would say this. Well, you see, there's this special reason why. As she would be basically go to a little flashback. It was the day after, destroying that, fallen angel camp in, Kuo. As we currently see, all three of the, fallen angels basically falling to sleep in the same bed. As while Rainer was falling to sleep, we currently see Kawaner basically, basically kicking on the bed, basically Julia should say, yes, you could do that. She would basically say, she would start kicking, Millet in the face while the other foot is basically on the, on the stomach of like, of, of Rainer, as Rainer's basically being kicked, as she would basically fall to the ground. As she would say, God, I hate my sister, she would say. Yeah, going back to the present day, as she would say this. Yeah, I really want to sleep somewhere else. As, Izuku would say this. Well, I do have a spare room there, but it's for my parents, and I don't want it to get trash. If that, if that happens, well, I could probably die. As after saying this, Reina would say this. Oh, don't worry. Besides, I won't do anything that thing, like that, bad to your, parents' room. As he would say this. Just make sure, because I don't want to get my mom's, whipping, he would say. As she would say this. Excuse me, what? As he would say this. You know the belt, right? As she would start to pale a little bit, because she knows that type of feeling. As we go to a little flashback. So, back in the Grigori, back when she was like, pretty young, she would basically cause a lot of trouble for the Grigori, and her punishment was spanking. And it was not helping that she was basically, after basically becoming a fallen angel, she became, she used the sin of, of lust. Sometimes I wished I never thought of this. So, yeah, after those few years, she would say, we basically go back to the present, and she would say this. Yeah, I can definitely see why. As after saying this, Izuku would say this. Anyway, you can sleep in my parents' bed, but make sure to clean it, okay? She would say this. Got it. And, by the way, is there a TV there? As you would say this. Yeah, but try not to use, try not to overuse it. I mean, the TV there is pretty old. It was actually used by my grandparents. As she would say this. Oh, don't worry. What the fuck? Sorry about that. Anyway, continuing on with the episode. Jesus Christ. And if you know what is currently on the background, well, I'll give you a hint. It's from The Boys. Not, that Boys, the show, but, Josh. As in, Josh Dubs. And it's one of his friends. I'll give you a hint. It's Mexican, and it's basically him just like, reacting to, let's just say, interesting videos to say the least. So, continuing on with the episode, after, saying that, she would basically, say goodnight, and she would start leaving to go to, to where, his parents' bedroom is. As after doing so, she would basically fall asleep on, Izuku's parents' bed. As we currently see Izuku basically, falling to sleep, basically on his bed. After falling to sleep, we basically, see, another perspective. In this case, a different perspective in a pretty weird place, to say the least. Currently, we see a world with a dark sky and, pretty dark clouds. As after, a while of basically, the sound of rumbling, they would see, like the camera would basically pan out to a large castle. As we currently see a man. We currently see a man with, a simple like white blazer and a red, jacket over it. As that blazer is basically, open up, open halfway where it's able to basically see his pecs. As he has blonde hair and bluish eyes, as he would say this. Soon, Rizel will have his prize, he would say. Now, I want all of you to get ready because we're going to be visiting Riser's, Riser's bride to be, he would say. As everybody would basically start to kneel. and these people seem to be mostly girls. As after doing so, they would start to leave as he would say this. Soon, Riaz, you will be mine, this man would say, with a almost lustful tone. And after doing so, we basically end off the episode right off here. So yeah, I hope you liked the video, comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye!